So tell me about Kilted. How did it start? How did you guys get together?
The Kilted generation. We're a band of three unlikely individuals who actually met on the streets of Fremantle. The other two guys were in another band at the time, and I was doing solo stuff. The drummer from that band was looking to play with an acoustic instrument that was about the same volume level as his, and the bagpipes seemed to cut it. So we did a few tunes together, and then Trunk, the dulcimer player, came along and liked what he heard and tried to put a few licks behind it, and was born from there.
So how long have you guys been together?
We've been alive for like 6 years, but actually together for about 5.
Right, okay. Have you played all during that time?
No. Yeah, and when I say we've been together for about 5 years, I actually meant 2.
Right. Apparently there's some story about you guys doing a gig at the entertainment centre.
Yeah, we played the NSET. It was 1998 with Savage Garden, I think they were called.
How did you get that gig?
The local promoter was looking for something different for his lineup, and as is the nature of the beast, the guy happened to see us playing on the streets a couple of nights before, so took the easy road and called us up.
Right, and how was that gig?
The gig was very interesting. It was, to play in front of 10,000 odd people was pretty fun. A little intimidating to start with, but like any other gig, once your first couple of notes, you're into it. Could be 10 people, could be 10,000 people.
How did it go down?
Went down a treat. Apparently it revved the crowd up really big time, and the guys from Savage Garden were very happy, and we got to sign a few nubile t-shirts afterwards, which was kind of like playing around in the world of the rock god, which was a bit bewildering.
A bit different from playing on the streets of Fremantle?
Yeah, a bit different. You have a whole bunch of people who are instantly giving you, superstar status, especially when you can hardly afford to buy a loaf of bread. That's pretty funny.
That's a feeling you'd maybe like to experience again sometime?
No, not really.
I mean, superstar status, not being able to...
Not being able to afford a loaf of bread.
No.
Yeah, the superstar status thing, well, basically it's all about other people's perception, really. What they want to choose to perceive you as.
Right, yeah, and how do you think people should perceive you?
Perceive us as just as human as they are. We just happen to do something that most people don't do during the course of their day.
Get around a kilt and play bagpipes?
Getting around in a kilt and play bagpipes outside of the genre that it was originally stuck into, I guess.
So is there much of a movement, a sort of worldwide musical movement, to sort of make the bagpipes more, contemporary and take it out of the traditional
Yeah,
realm?
yeah, there is. There's a whole bunch of pipers around the world doing all kinds of weird stuff to try and break away from the traditional thing. But as is the case with most things that are new, the people that are doing it are not willing to share any information with anybody else who's doing it. So there's kind of a self-denial. No, this is not happening. And if it is, I don't know anything about it. Because, if someone comes out and says, yes, it is new and I'm doing this, and someone else is going to rip off their idea, which is also a sign of the times, I guess. So the things that I'm doing, I don't want to discuss with other pipers, and the things that influence me, the guys that do that, they don't want to talk to me either, because they're pretty sure I'm going to steal their ideas as well.
Your style seems to be fairly heavily rooted in a sort of more like a rock or even a metal idiom. Is that something you're consciously going for?
Not consciously, which is also a good thing, because the subconscious is fantastic.
I mean, you play sort of AC/DC songs, and you play...
Yeah, in the cover realm.
Yeah.
AC/DC tunes, bit of punk, bit of metal, that kind of thing. I basically see myself as a heavy metal fan of a long time, so there's a small part of my deep inner core that is metal, so I can actually play Amazing Grace, for example, play Amazing Grace and have people crying, loving it, but there'll still be a tiny little inflection of metal in there somewhere that unless you have that knowledge you won't be able to smell it.
Yeah, right. So there is a bit of a history with AC/DC with the Long Way to the Top using the bagpipes. So there's a bit of a rock and roll history there, I suppose.
Right. Well, Bon Scott himself was actually a piper in the Fremantle Pipe Band in 1967.
Is that right?
Yeah. Which is why he actually wrote Long Way to the Top and the bagpipe part on it. So it's kind of weird because I'm going to move to Fremantle about 15 years ago and been playing the bagpipes for 18 years. I've been a fan of AC/DC, but nothing's ever really been conscious. Like, I played the bagpipes because Bon Scott did it. That's not true at all. And 18 years down the track, I've just found, like, wow, that's really coincidental. Like, both Bon and myself live in Fremantle and both play the bagpipes and both have a penchant for hard liquor and rock and roll music. So it's great to kind of carry on the tradition, even though I'm not getting anywhere near the amount of recognition that Bon was getting, even though I kick his ass in the bagpipe realm, really. And he kind of kicks my ass in the death realm, having that, being dead and famous and everything, me being alive and still fighting really hard to make a living.
What would you classify? How would you classify your pipe playing?
How would I classify my pipe playing? Bastardized would be a good way to put it for the time being. I'm finding my own groove, trying to inject the rock and the metal. Like, we take original traditional tunes and play them at a kind of metally rock pace.
Are you writing your own tunes now?
Yeah, trying to write tunes, but it's difficult because as is with most things have already been done. So it's hard, and especially with an instrument that's like over 1,000 years old and only has 9 notes, you're kind of limited as to what you can do.
There's only 9 notes on a bagpipe.
There's only 9 notes on a bagpipe.
And one of the bottom ones is a funny sound, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a low G through to a high A. It's a 1 octave plus 1 note.